Welcome to Small Town Big Business, a podcast about doing big business in rural America. I'm your host, Allison Hassler.
And I'm Russell Williams, and welcome to the Citadel Building, downtown Marion, Illinois, on Tower Square Plaza, home of ETHOS. And ETHOS is an entrepreneurial and technical opportunities incubator and co-sharing office spaces. We're so glad you could join us today.
And on Small Town Big Business, we interview successful business owners from small towns to understand how and why they thrive in small towns. And today, our guest is from behind the scenes, Luke O'Neill of Union Street Arts. Welcome, Luke.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on the other side of the cameras today. It's
this
exciting.
Is spinning my world around. You're not supposed to be here on this side. You're supposed to be over there behind the camera.
We're all flipped around today.
Yeah, I'm confused.
Yeah, but I'm excited. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And I should clarify, you also own not only Union Street Arts, but White Oak Films, correct?
Yeah,
Am I
White
saying
Oak
that?
Wedding Films. So, yeah, that's... have a couple Union Street Arts and White Oak Wedding Films, my wedding company too. So yeah, do a bunch of different stuff.
Well, we're going to get into exactly what those are
and
how you got started in those.
Yeah, sounds good.
But first, tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe some personal stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard you're the love child of Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz.
Is that right?
Well, that's what I heard. Is it true?
Yeah, well, Larry and Becky O'Neill more like, but I'll take the compliment. Thanks, Russ. I'm a local guy. Just grew up here in Marion. Went to schools here. Had a great time. Went to college. Moved away for a while. Came back. I guess starting off, as a kid, I was really into athletics. And really poured myself into there. Learned how to set goals. Sense of accomplishment. Achievement, stuff like that, and was able to have an athletic scholarship to college for soccer. Went up to Champaign, Illinois, and did that for a while, and then junior college, Parkland College, Illinois, and wanted to finish my degree, and was thinking, what do I want to do now? My athletic career kind of ran its course, and I thought, I'm going to come back to Southern Illinois, Carbondale, and decided to go into mass communication and media arts, and got my bachelor's of arts in 2016 in cinema and photography. Moved away after college, after I graduated, moved down to New Orleans, Louisiana, where I got into the wedding industry there. I started doing weddings in college, just for professors, different people around campus and stuff like that. But really was able to learn the industry working for a few different companies in New Orleans. A lot of fun weddings down there in the French Quarter. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun, learning experience, just kind of being thrown into that environment. Moved again, kind of bounced around, moved out to Colorado, had a great time out there, beautiful nature. I love nature, hiking, all that good stuff. Got more into the commercial side, video production, photography, stuff like that. So decided to move back here, I think end of 2018, 2019. Yeah. And, been doing this stuff ever since. So now I'm here. And feel good. Happy to be here. Yeah. So that's the short rundown of my early life and how I got here.
You've done a lot of traveling in your young life.
I have. I've been lucky. I've been very blessed to be able to experience a lot of different things, a lot of different cultures around the world. And that really has helped shape my point of view, my perspective, and, I haven't been able to do as much, obviously, since the COVID season, but just kind of taking what I've seen out there in the world and what I see works, and trying to bring that back here to Southern Illinois and what I envision, what I like.
Yeah. Well, I'm familiar with wedding photography. I think everybody is. Yeah. But what about Union Street Arts? Describe what is Union Street Arts.
So Union Street Arts started amid the pandemic, actually. So I had my wedding business before. Obviously, I've been doing weddings for 5 years, and I had an office. I just started an office right before the pandemic, January. I actually moved into a spot here in downtown Marion.
You're one of our fellow neighbors in downtown Marion.
That's right, just a stone's throw away from where we are right now. And basically we started, the shutdown happened. And, I had this little office in this building that was planning on being renovated into storefront property. And everything got shut down. It was like, what are we going to do? What am I going to do now? The weddings I had were postponed or canceled or moved. It was just a crazy time. So myself, we have to do something. So myself and a few other people, we just need to keep doing what we do. We're not going to let, something stop us. So we decided to start doing live streaming out of the space. And the space Union Street is in now is an old church. So we talked to the owner. I was like, hey, his renovation plans kind of got sidetracked due to COVID. So I'm like, hey, can we take over the rest of the space for the rest of the year or for 6 months, I think it was at that time, just to use it. And he let us do that. And we started doing music live streams on our stage. We had different people, artisans from around the local area, bartending, did a cocktail night. We did a floral night with Delicious Ordinary, who's been on the podcast before. And then music, a lot of music stuff too. So that's sort of
You did some cooking ones too, right?
We did some cooking ones. So we just we're just doing all kinds of stuff. Like everything was shut down. We didn't have anything to do. So we're going to try all this kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And then we got into the mural project. People probably know Union Street from our mural, here in downtown Marion. And Allison was a big part of that, getting the mural project started. And we got involved, and we're able to be a part of that mural project too. Yeah. And since then, we've been basically doing the same thing. We've just been doing video, audio production. We've dabbled with different live events. We've had live shows, bands in our space. We did an art fair. Yeah. So we really were just trying as much as we can during this past season to see what stuck, see what fits, see what is sustainable. And that's sort of where we are now, is moving forward into the sustainability aspect of what we do.
And the history of your location is that you've resurrected a building through your business and also the mural that's 100 and...
So it's over 100 years. I think 1914, don't quote me on that, but it is over 100 years old. Wow. There actually used to be a theater in the building itself. It was I think it was the first movie theater here in Marion, the old Roland Theater, and it was
had a second floor or a third floor.
Third floor. So the third floor was actually the movie theater. Wow. And actually the history behind it is they showed Birth of a Nation there, and that was kind of a big deal, a phenomenon for people to experience, film. Yeah. And outside ideas for people. It's a big deal. A lot of farmers came from all around. You see the old pictures of the hitch rack, and people would park their horses and buggies, and it's pretty cool. It's a really historic location. And so the story goes, there was also one thing happened, and the theater shut down, and it sort of went into squalor a little bit, and Prohibition era, apparently there's a speakeasy in the basement, rackets up top where the old theater was. So it has an interesting history for sure. Yeah, like a lot of these places here. Right. But it's
and some of my friends remember it being a grocery store.
It was. So it was a grocery store. It was a feed store. It was a Dollar General at one point.
Really?
Wow. It was. Yeah, and more previously it was a church, and now we sort of. We
and it just has the first floor now.
It just has the first floor. They ripped the 2 floors off. Yeah. So it's been interesting, and it's been great to see a lot of what's happening down here. A lot of people giving back to this town and wanting to see it thrive.
Yeah, it's really neat because you've breathed life not only into the building itself that is it sounds like it's been reincarnated several times. But really just the mood of the entire neighborhood of the Union Street area is very vibrant. It's, obviously very colorful now because you have this gorgeous mural on your building. And it's really exciting to see because it's not on the square, but it's right next to the square, and it really expands the neighborhood of the downtown district. And I think that you have played a huge part in that. Just being a creative and trying different things like the crafts fair and the artisan fair. And it's been really, really fun to watch. So I have one question. What got you into film and production? So we went from soccer to film. What did you get an introduction at some point in your life that made you want to go into that?
Yeah, so I guess I should say a big part of sort of my background is also in the theater. My brother was a big performer here, pursued acting and dancing and singing, and I learned a lot from him. Being my older brother, and sort of rubbed off on me. And that's sort of where my interest in the arts, performance in general kind of started. And in 2005, my mom and a group of moms started a theater company here, a non-for-profit called Art Starts. Shout out Art Starts.
Yeah.
And so that got me really familiar with storytelling and emotion, what impact, and expression. And
Art Starts is for what demographic?
It's for kids. It's a children's theater group. People from all across the region come here for Art Starts. That brings a lot of people to the downtown, the area. If you've ever been to one of their shows, you know how fantastic they are and what a crowd they bring.
Great productions.
Yeah. So that's really where my interest in storytelling and production. And I guess I should say, when I was probably a junior or senior in high school, I took a marketing class at the high school, and we had to make commercials over a product. And you get to pick your product, and it was so much fun. Me and my friends, we made this spaghetti western over Stetson cologne. And we had the
classy
at the time the quarterback was playing Tom Brady in the ad, and there was a shootout, and I was directing it and shooting it. It was just, we had a blast.
Yeah.
And so that was my first introduction into like directing video.
That's great.
I
still have a bottle of that Stetson cologne.
Exactly. It was
probably from that commercial that sold you.
I think we might have sold some actually for them, but so that got me really engaged, and then really social media really blew up at that time as well. Instagram really came on, and that's when I really got into the aesthetic. Like really, like, okay, what's the aesthetic? Making something look as good as you can, and that got me into like photography and more so. And yeah, that's sort of how I got my interest. I took art classes in high school, but I was always more so, I love movies. I got really into movies and would just watch all kinds of movies, and I think the video side, I saw myself as a more viable career path than being a performer in theater. Not the easiest lifestyle to pursue.
Sure.
But that's sort of how I got into it. And then my studies at SIU were huge for me too. The media program is great over there. I was able to do a study abroad documentary film program there in Bonn, Germany. Was able to study at a dance studio there, Tanzfaktor, and studied with these international artists, and it really opened my world up to just broaden my horizon, and being able to learn from these professionals, touring the world was huge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Luke, you're a highly creative person, multi-talented person. I can't think of anybody that has more different talents. In addition to the things that you've already mentioned, you play guitar, you play piano. I've heard you play piano, and you play drums too. I mean, and more. What can you not play, right?
Yeah.
But on the business side, what's your favorite part about your business?
You know, my favorite part about business, and this is a big part of why I pursued this lifestyle, is the freedom. You know, I crave that. You know, I want to make my own path and make my own rules and pursue what I want. You know, if I can wake up in the morning and go to sleep at night, and in between do exactly what I want to do, that's the ultimate freedom for me. And be able to spend time with my family, or, you know, they say take time off when you want, but that's, you know, not as easy. Yeah. But, you know, for me, that was really it. And, you know, just the belief in myself and my perspective. That's why, you know, it's definitely a lifestyle, you know, choice. It's all in all the time. But I like that. I like it. I like the challenges, the different things every day. I like doing something new, you know, something different all the time. It keeps me engaged. You know, I'm a person that needs that. That's, you know, I need to be doing something, you know, constantly. And yeah, that's, you know, that's probably the main thing, but, you know, I also like realizing taking nothing and creating something. You know, and that process of realizing a vision into reality is extremely rewarding as well.
I thought for sure you were going to say numbers crunching and that accounting aspect. That's not numbers and math. You can ask, is never my strong suit. No, you're spoken like a true artist. And do you have projects on the horizon that you can talk about? Things that you have that you'd like to pursue, because it's like a chameleon, you know, and I love the fact that your business is called Union Street Arts, because it is all encompassing, and it doesn't put you in a box, and it doesn't put your industry in a box, because you have changed and tried so many different things, and they are very all encompassing in the art realm. Which I find really, really interesting. I'm sure that you've had some people ask and be like, okay, so now what do you do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, there's a lot of exciting things on the horizon for us. Some I can mention now, some I can briefly talk about, but, you know, that's one of, you know, I think our biggest strengths is our ability to adapt to any situation and make a decision at that time. So, you know, one thing I'm really excited about is obviously podcasting, right? Mm-hmm. More podcasting. That's super exciting. This podcast has been a great experience with you two. And I'm really excited about doing more stuff like this exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's a piece of it. Another piece, obviously, with, you know, we have a recording studio as well, and we have about a band in there, one a month right now. Local people, you know, we offer an affordable rate for people to make an album or something like that. And
wow.
Yeah. So another big piece is on Horizon that we're currently working on is the tourism space. You know, I'm passionate about tourism. I've been a tourist.
Here.
You know. And I think I know what people want, you know, when they're looking to travel, when they're looking to go to a place, just from my experiences and what I look for.
And you've been to all these wedding venues too, so you know what's available.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a big resource here, is the wedding venues, you know, the beautiful area in Southern Illinois. Highlighting that, I mean, my perfect day is waking up in the morning, going for a hike, coming to downtown, getting a cup of coffee, going to work, have meetings, do stuff like this, be able to go out, you know, see a show in normal times, go out to eat, have a good time, spend time with family and friends, and that's all accessible here. And not enough people know about it. Not enough people know about what some of the gems that this region holds. So we're really looking forward to highlighting that and getting more into the tourism space as well. But obviously weddings too. We are planning on doing a lot more weddings in the next year as well. So, and I don't want to put any, limits on what we're going to do either. But that's sort of the media production. That's like our backbone. That's our foundation. And so that's where we're focused. Like I was mentioning earlier, this past season has given us an opportunity to explore other things, but that's our center. Yeah. So more stuff like that.
And Luke, talk about the attraction of creative businesses to downtown Marion, because I know that's common for small towns and cities across the Midwest, and it's happening here right now.
Yeah. So, what's happening here is amazing, and it's unique. And, creative business, or like the mural project, for instance, creates an atmosphere, creates an identity to an area. When someone thinks of this area, they're going to think of these murals now. And when they come to check them out for a show or for lunch or for dinner, they'll be able to walk across the entire downtown and see amazing, amazing, amazing works of art, public art, that are fully displayed, and they'll be able to move across this downtown, and that's really what is essential for sort of the vision of the square, is to have that common place where people can move in and out of freely, to sit, to be inspired, to hear music, to gather. That is just so important for a central area of a town. And I think just some of the art or some of the creative businesses, it's just so valuable, and you can't really put a quantifiable figure on that. But the qualitative ROI on something like that is profound, that we can't really put a number on right now.
And you started a synergy of working with other creatives, other photographers, social media creatives, the Civic Center here in downtown. I mean, you're core to that. You're one of the most important persons to creating that synergy.
Oh, thanks, Russ. Yeah. I really appreciate that. You guys are too.
Yeah, I'm pretty new. I'm a novice.
No, it takes everybody. There's pieces, and we need each piece, to make the whole, and, I'm glad to be able to add whatever I can when I can, and, I'm just looking forward to all that is still to come.
Yeah.
So what are some challenges that you've faced in being a business owner, specifically starting your business in the middle of COVID? Well, not all of it, but the Union Street Arts part of it.
And don't say working with us, okay? Just skip that part and keep.
Sure.
Having difficult hosts that you have to deal with. So are there anything that sticks out to you that is a challenge that you've had to figure out how to overcome?
Sure, absolutely. So I think a big thing, a challenge, has been sort of getting people to understand, like you said, what we do, why it's important, why does it matter. There's a sentiment that things have been done this way for this long, and that's okay. The status quo is fine. And I just don't agree with that. But, trying to educate people in a way to bring them in, and to, just have an understanding. There's so much out there in this world that works and that's proven, and like there's a roadmap for a lot of these things. A lot of places have succeeded greatly. It's a model for us, and sometimes here in Middle America, some of these ideas or some of the resources or some of the nuance it takes a while to reach and to penetrate deep. But I think you're seeing that here now, within the past year, even during COVID, people are starting, you're starting to see that unravel a bit.
Yeah.
And that's really, exciting. Obviously, anytime entering a new a new market, establishing, coming back into this market was a challenge. Just establishing yourself, like meeting people, knowing they know what you do. They know that, what you can bring and what you can offer. So, just exposure and time, I guess, to what we do would be a challenge.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I love it when the Tower Square bell. It's like, oh, I remember where we're at.
Yeah.
So
It brings us back.
it brings us back.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching.
Back to the
We're on
square.
Tower Square. We have a bell.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, talk about the resources that are provided, I think, here in downtown Marion, and something that you couldn't live without, or your business would not be successful without.
Sure. So the community has been hugely supportive of us. The city has been hugely supportive of us. There's been, different projects that, people have wanted us to be a part of, and we wouldn't be here without that, without the support. We've, doing stuff at the Civic Center, or, with here at ETHOS, you just can't, it's just so, it can't be overstated how valuable that is, and, how we've been able to, succeed from that, directly from that, from that support, and people wanting to buy into that. And we're still, it's still early, for us too. And there's a lot more that we need to tap into, honestly, but it's just going to take a little more time, but we're working on it.
That's exciting. I am looking forward to seeing the future of what Union Street Arts does.
Yeah.
And Luke, yourself, the people that you collaborate with, it seems like everything that you do is new, different, fun, inviting for others, the general public, the non-artisans like me. So it's really excited to see, and I'm looking forward to seeing more from you guys.
Yeah. One person that, gave me some advice once, they said, if you're going into film, if you're going into media, and you're doing what everybody else is doing, you already failed. And if you're going to start something, you have to raise that bar to stand out and be different. What makes you different? So we've tried to do that, try to set ourselves apart, in what we do. And, we have a great team. None of this would be possible without our team. Reese Smoot here. He's the man in the producer
Reese.
chair today. He does a great job. We have a ton of support that way. And, I forgot the question.
No. Well, I will say a shout out to Reese.
Yeah.
We didn't just leave no one behind the wheel of this podcast today.
Yeah.
That's right. Reese is in the commander chair today. Command center.
Yeah. No, I think that is great. And
What would you tell your younger self, or maybe a new entrepreneur, about starting a business in small town?
I would say, pursue failure. Don't be afraid of that. The most important thing is just doing it. The most important part of it is the process itself, and the work. And if you're doing that, you put in the work, you're doing the right things, you're meeting the right people, and you don't quit.
that is profound. I like that, pursuing failure.
Yeah.
Because it moves all of those fears aside when you pursue that, and then you figure out how to do it right.
Yeah. I have failed so many times.
I think we all have.
On my face. I've made a fool of myself so many times. So now I have, it's like, well, I've failed epically before.
Yeah.
What's this, what's it matter,
Yeah.
And when I can learn from that, you learn a lot more from failure than you do, making a deal or a success. The failures are what drive you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drive me.
Quote my friend Daryl Ross. He doesn't recognize the word failure. What is that? It's just learning and opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So, you mentioned ETHOS a little earlier. ETHOS is our small business incubator and co-working, co-sharing workspace here in downtown Marion. And you've been part of the birth of that. And tell us a little bit about your insight and what you think ETHOS could be.
Oh, ETHOS it has so much potential. It's a beacon of hope and opportunity that, what could be possible, right here. The community aspect as well, having that community of business owners, like-minded people, working together, that's how, an idea, $1 billion idea happens, that bringing together those minds, right? That synergy going back and forth. That's when some real magic can happen. And being able to provide, tactical resources for people starting, like myself, still new into business, it's so important. Yeah. And, I'm so excited for ETHOS and what business will be coming through here. Yeah. And I just can't wait to have, people see that too, and be able to come here and to take part in all this awesome stuff that's going on.
Well, I'm so excited about you being involved in this from really the beginning, and how you also got involved in the leadership training and the mastermind groups, and that's been important for me to be able to work alongside you in that.
Oh yeah, the leadership training, the masterminds are so valuable. It's awesome to see those, again, people coming together, talking about ideas and, how to operate, how to think about things, a different perspective, and what can you learn from them. I think that's awesome. And I'm blessed to be here, right now with you both and to be doing, just be here and taking part in all this. So
well,
it's
most
exciting.
Recently, we've talked about how to take the recording studio, the podcast room, and make it available for members of ETHOS and the ETHOS community as another amenity to being part of this community, and you're part of that. And we appreciate you working alongside us in that too.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here. And then, it's a pleasure to be able to share those stories. I love storytelling and being able to highlight, like this podcast, highlighting business owners or highlighting, whatever, being able to share that, online. I think the internet changed the world, the way we do life, in every aspect, and that's going to continue. And, I'm just excited to be able to, learn from these people, like this whole podcast experience that we've had. I've learned every single episode. There's awesome information that I've taken and tried to apply, to my business and to my life.
That's good.
And, it's really exciting, and people have a lot to share here, a lot to offer. And, we're excited to help do that and help be able to highlight them and, share their story with the world.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you, Luke, for coming on the podcast on the other side and sharing your experience as an entrepreneur. And I'm just really excited to see the future of your business and how it's just going to continue to blossom and continue to collaborate with other like-minded individuals. And it's really exciting to see. So I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Allison. I really appreciate that. I'm excited for you and your business too, and ETHOS project. I mean, it's been a great experience to be a part of this. So thank you guys for having me today.
Absolutely.
On the other side.
I
appreciate you. Let me share my story.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Luke. And thanks to your brother for lending you that shirt too.
Yes, shout out to Lawrence.
Nice.
my professional wardrobe.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, we do want to thank Luke O'Neill for being our guest today of Union Street Arts and White Oak Photography. So happy you're part of this. We want to thank everyone who's been watching this podcast, Small Town Big Business, or just listening to us on our podcast platforms. We want to thank our sponsors for making this possible. Also, Fowler Heating and Cooling, Arcadia Wealth Group, the Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Watermark Auto Group Foundation, Swinford Media Group, and our newest Southern Illinois Vacation Rentals.
Ooh.
And also Union Street Arts, and especially Luke O'Neill for making this possible with his production and management. If you are looking for small town big business,
Yes, you can find us on all of the podcast channels, any podcast channel that you listen, as well as our YouTube channel. You can see us live and video. If you're enjoying what you're listening to, please give us a review on wherever you listen to your podcast, as well as subscribe so that you can get our newest episodes that are released every 2 weeks.
and if you want to know more about Small Town Big Business or the ETHOS project, which is small business incubation and co-working spaces, we've got a brand new website. It's ethosmarion.org. You can find us there and reach out to us. Thank you so much. This is Russell Williams.
And I'm Allison Hassler. Thank you so much for listening today.